So guess what I did last night?
Did you exorcise a demon from your personal life?
Let me just reflect. No. No, I didn't. However, I did watch the original Pulse.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm so interested.
Good call.
Here's my main point on the original Pulse. White subtitles, lots of white backgrounds. I don't know what happened in that movie.
Which is the opposite of this movie because the white subtitles fit because everything's very dark.
Everything was so dark.
Yeah.
And from the IMDb visual for the original Pulse, I assumed it would be really dark too. No, very bright most of the time. There was a lot of shared imagery between the two, but I don't know plot-wise.
Oh. Is
what
there
happened? Okay, let's get into it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Never Show the Monster. I'm Kelly Attaway.
I'm Chelsea Hollander.
And with us once more is Nate Ragolia.
Hey, everybody. I'm back. I'm back in pog form.
He's back. Today we are talking about Pulse, the 2006 remake with Kristen Bell and
Christina Milian.
Sam Levine.
Jonathan Tucker.
Ian Somerhalder.
Yeah, just a whole mess.
I feel like we're missing a person. Oh, Octavia Spencer is in it for 10 seconds.
For 10 seconds.
As a kind of shitty landlady?
Yeah.
She's just, looking out for number one. I can't hold it against her.
Are there any landladies that aren't?
Oh, no, I wasn't trying to imply that landladies
people
and shittiness were somehow diametrically opposed concepts. I just think it sucks because it's like Octavia Spencer being not only a super black stereotype character, but also
that
shitty
was
very much
very
so.
troubling.
It's just like, oh, cool. So that's why she's the one person of color in the movie. Kind of. I mean, I don't know. Is Christina Milian
no purpose? Like, there was no reason for that character to be like that. She's on screen for 10 seconds. Were they trying to imply that stereotypically black people are more prone to theft? Oh, ew! Now I don't like the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, if we take out that scene, let's.
Yeah, omit that scene and it's fine.
I'm middle ground on it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. So I'm kind of.
Oh, I'm not saying I loved it.
I didn't.
You're not going to put it in the top 10?
Hate it either. I just have thoughts.
I think it was better than I expected it would be.
Oh, okay. I had watched it a long time ago, but it was like a ton of movies came out around the same time that were visually very similar. Like we had White Noise come out around the same time, and They, I think is the name of the movie, but they are all very dark and you can barely tell what's going on for most of them.
Oh, this was pretty crisp. You could see stuff.
I mean, yeah, but it's like most of it's kind of, the ghost things are dark and blurry sometimes. Aside from when it comes out of a washing machine.
Yeah,
that was cool. I gotta say that was
that was a good one.
That was good.
That was way too many limbs.
Was that washing machine attached to Wi-Fi? Like, how'd he get in there?
Is yours not? I don't know. I have Wi-Fi.
You got that Wi-Fi washer?
Oh yeah. Oh
damn.
This is like the Maximum Overdrive problem, right? The Stephen King movie. You guys know that one?
I know that.
Yeah, the one where the truck is
essentially Christine.
Yeah. There's like all these big 18-wheelers come to life.
Does it have Emilio Estevez? Am I making that?
It does. No,
okay,
Emilio Estevez is in the movie. Yeah, but lots of other machines / electronics come to life for different reasons. But it's kind of unclear why some things come to life and why some don't. Because spoiler for the movie, but their plan is to escape on a boat. Which is
all of them?
The people who survive.
Oh, people! I thought you meant the machines were trying to escape, and I was like, we're gonna Noah's Ark these 18-wheelers? What's up?
Two of every axle. All the people want to get on a boat to escape from all of these vehicles coming to life, and it's sort of odd because is a boat not analogous to a car on water for the most part?
Is it a I can't remember the movie. Is it a rowboat? It's not a rowboat. It wouldn't be a rowboat.
No, it's like a power boat.
Is the thing that really seals the deal wheels? Do you have to have wheels to become?
No. Well, no, because some things like toasters get mad.
Toasters.
And even a Pepsi machine like starts shooting cans at a Little League coach until it like kills him, I think.
Interesting.
But if things don't have like power supplied to them or an energy source, is the energy source what? But boats have energy sources.
Boats have energy, and same energy that cars do. At least in like 1985 when they make the movie. It's not like they're operating under, hybrid or fuel cells or anything.
Is it scared of water?
I mean, this is possible. That could be exactly what it is. But I think that's the question, right? It's like, was that particular washing machine so bestowed with this? Or was it just that this movie kind of conveniently kills its main cast members because it can't figure out how to scare you really well otherwise in some spots?
Yeah, that washing machine scene is really the only one that's pretty spooky, huh?
The beginning scene
that
was
one's
pretty
scary.
good.
The beginning scene was good.
You know what got me? Josh's cat.
Oh,
yeah, that was awful. That was the worst. Like that.
Did not care for that.
That should not have been in there.
That was probably the worst part of the
movie.
Going into the original, I was like, that cat scene must be like, that must be from the original. That must be like honoring the original. It's not. It isn't. They made up that cat scene for the remake.
And it's a genuinely confusing cat scene because the cat's supposed to be like dying of malnutrition.
I guess so. He
in
just
the closet
locked little kitty in a closet.
But like, how long has he been bumming?
Yeah, I don't feel like long.
I just don't somehow see a cat starving in like 4 days. Maybe I'm crazy about how long it takes to starve a cat.
Maybe cat was already sick.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Yes, that's what it was.
Way in there. I don't know.
It was still gross.
I mean, Josh had been pretty maniacal leading up to the library scene, so maybe he was neglecting the cat for like weeks while he's trying to get in touch with, what was the guy's name? Ziegler,
yeah. Because the movie is trying to make a statement there that it isn't these things that he has unleashed through the internet, but it is in fact the obsession with technology that causes the suffering.
Let's not do that just yet. Let's talk about the spooky, scary stuff first.
Okay, so I love the way this movie opens, right? Kristen Bell is walking through her college campus. And everybody has flip phones and laptops, and they're just all out in the courtyard, sitting on the hoods of cars, and everybody's just kind of on their devices, but not nearly as on their devices as they would be right now. Anywhere.
Yeah.
And she's sort of looking around like, what's wrong with everybody? They totally don't get it. But then she's also constantly texting with Josh,
who's not responding.
He's not. He's ghosting on her. Literally.
All right, folks, take a drink every time one of us makes a terrible joke.
We will.
It's going to turn out like the end of Host all over again.
So before we get too far into the movie, I wanted to point out one thing. Harvey Weinstein's an executive producer.
Oh my God. Okay. I have so many things to say about that part because it's the only thing I can get with investigation on it.
Hit us with it, Chelsea.
Okay. So all my research, I don't have a lot. I think that a dry legume is also called a pulse, just in case you guys were wondering. There was a movie that came out in 1988 that was called Pulse, and it's about electrical wires. It's a horror movie as well, but it has absolutely nothing to do with this.
I feel like I've seen that.
You might have. We should have watched that too, so we can compare it.
All right. Let's reschedule.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, 2 more pulses. I'm in.
And then we had the original in 2001, and then the remake in 2006, which we're talking about today. Yeah, and Harvey Weinstein, apparently one of the girls who had come out saying that she was one of the people who got blacklisted, I think, said he would do threesome for 3 films, and this was one of the films.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't want to speculate, but I mean, I get concerned with the people in the movie and if any of them had to deal with anything in order to be in that movie because of that.
Shit.
And honestly, that's not good for a comedy or horror podcast. So I'm not going to I'm not going to keep talking about it.
I mean, it is a type of horror, but like not our brand. Not our brand.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Nate said, this movie does open with scenes of campus. It's not Kristen Bell straight away though. It's our main boy Josh.
Oh yeah.
Same scene that you described though. He's walking through campus. Everybody's on their technology. It's full, and he heads on to. Is this the library in the basement, or is this like a special research library?
Well, he said he was going to meet Ziegler at the library, right?
So it's probably just like the stacks, right? It's just where they store all the books that nobody cares about, and where a lifeless old man shelves books without affect.
Yeah, he was weird. I liked him. I think he was a good addition.
Why didn't he come back? He would have been an interesting character to revisit in the latter part of the film.
For example, when am I conflating the movies? It was a mistake to watch the original last night. Hold on. Do they go to like the computer lab at some point? They do. They do. Kristen Bell and handsome gentleman. What was his name?
Ian Somerhalder. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know who he was. I looked on his IMDb and I was like, oh, he's been in 1,000 things, but I didn't know him. So I just had him in my notes as handsome.
He's just all jawline.
And this was right during Lost, while he was filming Lost. Pre-Vampire Diaries.
Didn't watch that one.
I mean, neither did I, but he's in both of them.
So he gets to the library and he's got this little USB drive that he's clearly trying to get to somebody.
He's for real. He's thumbing that thumb drive. He's playing with it. He's looking nervous. And he keeps looking back in a very It Follows style way. We don't see what he's looking for. But there's something there. We for
sure do. You weren't paying attention.
Oh no, I remember. It was in the security screen and the
Yeah, so we do get glimpses of what's following him. It's something ghostly, but also weirdly technological. Like you can see, it's got like pixels. Like it looks like
it's like a Matrix ghost.
Screen. Yeah, it's a Matrix ghost. Books start flying off the shelves in the stacks as he's looking for Ziegler, and this was so Ghostbusters-y, right?
Oh, the way the book, yeah.
I was like, we just need a card catalog to spit out all its contents, and we got a remake on our hands.
a screaming woman of questionable immortal age.
Yeah, I was hoping that old man stacking books was going to play that role.
That would have been nice, right?
Yeah.
See, and what I was hoping, I was going through that like, oh, this is going to be a really good fake out because this is clear. Like it seemed like it was setting up a fake out. That Ziegler was going to be back there behind the shelf and be like, hey man. But no, we don't get a fake out at all.
No, we get a real thing. This ghostly figure pops out from the bookcase where he's been throwing books, and he Dementor style, or maybe Hocus Pocus style, starts slurping up the life force.
Or maybe Josh. Harvey Weinstein style. Isn't that what you imagine it would look like, though? Just like, let me suck the virility out of
definitely
you.
Definitely both things out of nightmares. That's for
both
sure.
Things out of nightmares.
All right. One callback. I won't go back to that well, I promise.
So then we're with Kristen Bell and all of her pals, and they are out at a bar. What are the friends' names? The girl is Izzy. The guy from Freaks and Geeks is Tim.
Yeah, that's it. Is there more?
And then there's the guy with the mustache whose name is Stoner character.
Stone. His name's Stone.
I think it's Stone.
His name's Stone.
That's great. Yeah.
I think it was Stone.
Played by Rick Gonzalez. I was gonna call him Rick. Like I knew his name. I didn't know his character's name.
He was a little cutie patootie. He had a great smile.
Yeah, he's in plenty of things. Wasn't he in Reaper? Did you watch Reaper? Oh, I like Reaper a lot.
And they're all chatting, and Izzy is sort of making fun of Kristen Bell, whose name is Maddie, for being so hung up on Josh.
I think in the captions it was 2 T's, and it was 2 T's in the IMDb.
So what's that short for?
Yeah, Matthew.
Matilda.
Yeah, maybe her name is Matthew. Oh, Matilda. Okay.
Oh, Matilda. That's such a cute. Matthew is also a cute name. Sorry for anybody.
Yeah.
Any Matthews listening. Adorable name.
So yeah, let's say her name was Matthew. I like that.
They are having the best college crowded bar night in nondescript place where they are. Where does this movie take place? Oh, yeah, it's in Ohio. But where in Ohio?
Is there a city in Ohio?
Akron?
Cincinnati?
No, is that a place?
Cleveland and Cincinnati.
Where are the college towns? What are the college towns in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got, I mean, I think Akron is one.
Oxford. Population 23,000.
Oxford?
I mean, it could be Oxford. Yeah, that's where Miami of Ohio is located.
Columbus. There are plenty of...
I bet it's Columbus because that's pretty much where that dot was on the map, too. Right? Because they, in the news chyron later in the film, they're saying like, hey, all these things are happening in this place that Nate's not going to spoil because we haven't gotten there yet. Dot, and there's like, boom, here's the dot with all the deaths happening.
So in this bar scene, we established pretty early that Tim has got a crush on Maddie. He's like texting her, asking her to dance.
Was he really texting her?
So he texted her the first time, and then she got another message, and she was like, Tim, knock it off. And he was like, it's not me. And it was her mom.
Wow, I didn't pay attention to that scene. My bad.
That's fine. You didn't really need to know.
It's kind of a weird, I mean, it's a weird scene, right? Because it sets this up in the way that any of those sort of late 90s teen horrors would go. Like, it feels like I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
More than it feels like The Ring, right? Like, we're not establishing any sort of tone. I mean, even from the initial Josh getting got scene, we're not establishing foreboding as much as what's going on, followed by, hey, this is like the cover band for the movies that you've already seen.
Yeah.
Even in the music. Like, the soundtrack does not have anything recognizable on it that now granted, maybe 2006 was not my wheelhouse for new music, but I felt like this was all like...
vaguely familiar?
Yeah, it's like covers of stuff that I had heard, or just cheap knockoffs of that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and that's... Now I want to go look at the soundtrack but I agree. When I was listening to the music, I was like, this sounds familiar, but not quite.
Boy, I did not pay any attention to that music. None of it penetrated my brain.
Yeah, it was like whoever Hoobastank and Incubus's contemporary was, that we don't remember their name of, that's who was on this soundtrack.
Hooba Bus. Take a drink.
There is a band called Intercooler, which sounds like it could be a combination of Hoobastank and Incubus.
I'm trying to... Yeah. So Interpol and... I can't think of an
Red Hot Chili Peppers? Peppers?
Yeah, exactly. we got there. We did it.
Yeah. It worked.
We got there.
I feel like we missed a little bit in the middle, but no, I mean, okay.
I don't think so.
All right, we're gonna mix Interpol and Red Hot Chili Peppers together, and we're taking the inter and we're taking the And then let's just put cool in there, because you know what? We're gonna be cool, guys.
Because both
there we go. That's it.
Are cool.
We're gonna be a cool ass band.
So Maddie leaves the bar, and Tim like follows her like a little puppy. He's like, I thought I could walk you home, and she's like, no.
He scares her.
He does. He startles her.
She's like, hey, I'm a college girl walking home alone in these absurdly low-rise jeans that were very popular for some reason.
Oh my god, you think hers are low?
Oh no, Christina Milian. Yeah, Izzy's were.
I was like, did she have her butt crack removed? How are these jeans so low?
Maybe the budget just got too much, and they were like, "We'll save a little bit on the costuming by just making these jeans a little less fabric."
How can we use less fabric? Which would also explain all of our crop tops and all of these tank tops. Don't got the budget for sleeves.
It was very of its time for that too. It's like all tank tops and low-rise jeans in that.
Yeah, it was very. I have distinct memories of going to like music halls in high school and all of the emo kids being dressed exactly like that, tank tops and low-rise jeans with heavy eyeliner. The only thing missing is that under their tank tops, there should have been a lacy cami that like peeked out below the bottom. So if I have one note for costume, they were not entirely true to the time. So Maddie gets home and she checks her voicemail on like a home phone. Yeah. She has a cell phone, but she has a home phone with a voicemail on it, like a tape.
Oh, yeah. She's hitting the answering machine.
She's hitting yes. Oh my God. I don't remember the name for answering machine.
And it's literally the least creative name for a device ever. What should we call this machine that answers the phone?
Voicemail box? I was like, I can't. Yes. And so she's got a call from her mom, whatever. But she's got a message from Josh. What does he say? He basically just says, hey, never mind.
I think, does he say, I've got something to tell you?
Yeah, he sounds like something's wrong, but he does definitely backpedal it. And he's like, no, never mind. Don't worry about it. Whatever. So
yeah,
her wanting to talk to her mom or getting a text for her mom and then a message from her mom is just the screenwriting save the cat moment, right? Is that what it is? Just we're supposed to go, oh, Maddie's a good person because she cares what her mom has to say. Because we never hear from the mom.
No, and in these early scenes, she's sort of dodging her mom. I think they just established this for that later scene. After Josh kills himself, she calls her mom, has to leave a message. We still don't get a conversation with the mom, but she like breaks down crying when her mom doesn't answer. I think that was it. I think that we just needed a reason to see her crying privately.
That was her character arc, was that she was the type of college age person who dodges their parents from time to time and then feels horrible when they witness death. Dodging
parents, but needing parents for comfort. I think that that's all that was.
Do you think that the mom was in a longer cut of this movie? Because this movie's only like 87 minutes long.
Oh, maybe.
And I just wonder if that's one of those. Generally speaking, I feel like a lot of this movie doesn't work because I think they cut a lot of stuff out.
Oh, that could be. So something I did read. So at first I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Wes Craven is involved. He wrote the script. He has disowned this movie.
Oh, no.
It is like the first line in a lot of things is like Wes Craven's Pulse. And then he's like, I am not affiliated with this. Please leave me alone. But they rewrote the script so many times. He was like, this is not my shit. I'm not into it. I want to see that movie. I want to see the movie that Wes Craven wrote because it's probably amazing.
That script must exist somewhere. Can we get our hands on it? Do you think our podcast has enough sway to get our hands on it?
I think if you reach out to Wes Craven on Twitter, you might. Why not? We should ask.
I'll tweet at him. So she eventually goes to Josh's house to get in touch with him because it's been a long time since anybody has heard from him and everybody's sort of worried. And his house is gross as hell. And I know that in the context of the movie, it's supposed to be like, something's wrong with Josh. There are cockroaches in his apartment. And I was like, every college boy I knew in college had cockroaches in their apartment. This is not because of the ghost monsters.
This is normal.
Like I've seen cockroaches in college boys' apartments. That was not the cat was more upsetting.
Yeah.
There was an apartment I was looking at where there was a dead cat immediately outside the door. I was like, dead cat, bad omen. Not into it. Not going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. One thing I did want to point out, in Josh's kitchen, there's like a curtain of plastic. And that's from the original. That's what his kitchen looked like in the original. I don't really understand what purpose that served, apart from to make him look extra creepy when he stands up back there.
Is it maybe to diffuse the light from the window so that it doesn't reflect off of his precious computer screen that he loves more than everything else?
6 feet in from the window? Like it's like a whole room back there. I don't know.
Maybe it's so the smells don't. For someone who has a very dirty apartment, maybe he was like, I don't want the smell from the kitchen to get into my bed sheets. Because that's the problem that you have with smaller apartments. Is that kitchen smells will immediately just attract to all fabric.
It was stink mediation.
It was stink mediation. Okay.
So.
Yeah, keep cat on one side, live your life on the other. Got it. So Josh comes out and they talk for a minute. Basically, Maddie is like, what the fuck, Josh? Where have you been? And Josh is like, 1 second. And he grabs a cord from his laptop and disappears behind that curtain. And this is when Maddie finds the cat. She's like poking around. And when she finds the cat, she's like, no, I need to talk to him right now. So she goes back to his bedroom and finds him finds that he has hanged himself.
It was very quick. Could she have
yes,
helped him?
That's in my notes. I was
I was very upset by that because
it's been 30 seconds. Do you know how long it takes to die from that? Lift him.
Yeah, I think that they could just go and pick up his legs. But I understand she was in shock, but it seems like it wouldn't have mattered based on what we know later in the film.
That's
so it seems
true.
like what she would have done wouldn't have mattered.
That's
but yeah, at that moment I was like, what? Grab his legs.
Yeah, grab his legs.
But he was gone. He was gone when they showed him. I was like, this is not accurate.
He used a USB cable. Yank it.
Where? What did he hang it from? Did they have pipes in the ceiling?
I mean, they must have. They didn't really show us.
Was it an industrial apartment?
Oh,
it
maybe.
looked like an abandoned hospital almost that had been turned into apartments. I mean, we mentioned this, but everything in this movie is intentionally dreary in the grossest possible way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's as if wherever in Ohio they are does not have a tree in it, aside from on the green in the middle of campus. But everywhere else is just bombed out grossness.
Yeah. Only fluorescent lighting?
Only fluorescent lighting. I will say, I'm not going to call back to the original too much because we're not talking about that. But this scene was very striking in the original because when they found him, he had also hanged himself, but his neck was stretched out. It was very Japanese horror, long neck, rippled. You could tell from looking at him. Oh, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Wow.
He broke his neck real good. And
yeah, it was very startling. So she goes home and she talks to Izzy. Izzy is there waiting for her. But then Maddie has bad dreams that night. And those dreams recur. Spooky dreams. I don't even remember what they were. I know that she, throughout the movie, in these dreams, so these happen a couple times, like I said, here, and then she's taking a bath later and she sort of falls asleep and has these visions. And in these visions, she keeps imagining seeing Josh in this wasteland of a city and approaching him, but he's not facing her. I don't know. She just keeps having these crazy dreams, and that's where these start. The next day, she goes to therapy with a professor.
And a callback to our last episode of #horror, Ron Rifkin is her therapist, who was also in Brothers and Sisters with Balthazar Getty.
Hey! The Brothers and Sisters family is getting larger.
Saying, you guys check that out. They're all in horror movies.
It grows.
But that's what I thought when I first saw him. I was like, oh, it's Uncle Salt.
And he's playing the traditional late 90s, mid 2000s, hyper aggressive, psychoanalytical type of person who's just open up to me and tell me what's going on with you.
Yeah. He's
just break her down until she cries. And then she's like, yeah, my friend killed himself. And he's like, you're stronger than this. Get out of here.
That's basically how it goes. He was not super helpful. I'm going to be honest.
What is he there for?
I think that it's, I'm trying to college essay this, but I might not be doing it right because my college essays did not do well. Sorry, guys. He might have been to have her rethink about her life because we know that basically what happened with boyfriend Josh was that he had the life sucked out of him. So, I mean, in regular time, he was trying to identify if she was also feeling the same way. Did she say she read his book as well? I read your book. This isn't what I'm about. I don't know. Maybe it's how depression could be misinterpreted or something along those lines of her being like, no, I'm just trying to get through it. I'm trying to figure it out. And then him being like, no, you feel bad. And she was like, I don't know if I feel bad. And he was like, no, you fucking feel bad. And she's like, okay, I guess I do. And I feel like that was it was a little bit of projection, just putting that on her. And she was like, maybe I do. Let me go think about that some more. So I feel like that might have been a part of it if I were trying to figure out. I don't know if this movie's that deep. They got Ron Rifkin and they had to put him in somewhere.
Yeah, they were like, what are we going to do with this get? So I wanted to make sure we covered that because as she's leaving therapy, I keep calling it that. I think it was just a meeting with a professor. I don't know.
I thought it was therapy. Was that just one of her professors telling her she should feel bad?
Yeah.
I had a professor that did that. Okay, checks out.
Gross.
Yeah.
So she leaves therapy and Izzy is there waiting for her. And this is where Izzy's pants are so low.
I know you're saying Izzy's pants are so low. You do know that Christina Milian, one of her hits was Dip It Low.
I did not know that. I don't know who
Pick It Up Slow. So I think it was all about those low-rise jeans.
Okay. Well, she's crushing it. She looks great. So as they're leaving, Maddie notices a janitor cleaning a weird amorphous black spot off the wall. It looks almost like black mold, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's going to be important the rest of the movie. And that is a visualization from the original.
Oh.
It's already showing up. We're very early on in the movie here, 50 minutes into our podcast recording.
That's fine.
So this is where the gang is on group chat. Did you notice their screen names?
Oh, I didn't.
No, I wouldn't.
Somebody had lips in their screen name. I think it was
Stone?
Izzy.
Gotta be. Yeah.
I
Stone.
I thought it was Stone until I learned his name later in the movie because one of the
Did it have 420 in it?
Also like Stoner Blaze It hashtag.
Oh,
420.
gotcha.
Like, yeah, so that was him. And for the home listener, I was doing the like hang loose side. And then Tim was Tim and Maddie was Maddie. So nerds.
Which is why they totally should have hooked up instead of
Tim wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
Or Dexter? What was his name?
And granted, like Josh is ripped in the one memory fantasy that Maddie has of them together, where the lighting is brighter. They're in a completely different world.
I forgot to talk about the other synchronicity. So I talked about a synchronicity in our second Suspiria episode. I encountered another. So I watched this version of Pulse a few nights ago. And outside of this podcast, I have been rewatching Criminal Minds. Come at me. like, drag me, whatever. It's trash TV and I love it. And after I finished this movie, I immediately put on the next episode in my Criminal Minds rewatch, and there was Josh. He was the main bad guy in my very next episode of Criminal Minds. And I was like, that's a synchronicity, motherfucker. It was very exciting. But yeah, he was ripped in her memory, and he was also ripped in Criminal Minds.
He never stops being ripped forever.
They're in this group chat, and all of a sudden, Josh's screen name logs on and starts just saying, help me, help me, help me, over and over and over and over again. And Maddie is like, somebody has to go over and turn off his computer. This is not cool. This is not fun. This is not fair. I don't like it.
I appreciate the logic in that.
Sure.
Because a lot of horror movies just don't have logic, and being like, obviously somebody signed into his account. Let's go check that out. That's like a ghost hunter's move.
I have a logic question though now, because if someone commits suicide, and it's kind of a weird circumstance, is there any reason to believe that the police don't do some level of checking shit out first? Because it seems like this apartment is left untouched.
Yeah.
I don't know, because are the police just going to like leave the computer on, or would they be like, well, we can at least power this down while we're here? I don't know. I mean,
they wouldn't. I'm going to be real. As somebody who came from a law enforcement background and got a criminal justice degree, they would not do that. They would not care that much.
Okay.
You would think if it was a suicide, they would rule it like it would be questionable until just in case something happened, they would then go through the computer. I don't think that happens as often as the media portrays it happening.
Especially since Maddie was there when it happened. You know, like she saw him grab the cable and walk to the back room and then he was gone.
But to that point, I would be like, did she?
As fuck.
Did she?
She's suspicious, but that doesn't mean I got to look at his computer. I got to look at her computer.
He ditched her.
But this is 2006. Do they understand computers?
No.
Computers are just for nerds to trade video games and talk about Star Wars.
I was trying to remember what 2006 was like. I couldn't remember until just now what my interaction with computers was in 2006. I was in a programming class.
In 2006?
Yeah.
I thought I still had dial-up.
I mean, I probably did it at home. Maybe.
Well, I was trying to think of, because they talk about Wi-Fi in this, and I was like, who the fuck has Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had a wired internet computer in 2006. Because I still would have had like a desktop computer.
You're using AOL. You have that disc that gives you the internet.
Yeah. And
you just got to keep collecting CDs for 25 minutes free internet time.
That's pretty common in this movie too. Like, yes, they do talk about Wi-Fi, but every time they go to a computer, their first thing is to check its Ethernet connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like when I said that I had Stone in my notes as handsome, I'm reviewing my notes and I had him in here as Lips.
Definitely.
So Lips goes to Josh's house to try to turn off his computer, and he like pulls out, the computer's not there. Mm-hmm. And he pulls out an Ethernet, like he still fetches the Ethernet cable to be like,
just in case.
Better make sure it's not plugged in. While Stone is there, he's poking around the apartment and he hears a noise in a room that's like sealed off. And he breaks into this room and there's like red tape all over the windows.
And not the kind that obstructs getting anything done in Washington, people. We're talking about actual red tape.
Take a drink! Like literal red tape. We see glimpses of the apartment from outside, and the windows are all taped up. And some spooky woman starts approaching Stone.
And his instinct is to just crawl under the bed?
Well, first he tried to go out the window, so he rips off the tape. Yeah. And it looks out and he's like, too high. Under the bed seems safe. Let's do that.
Yeah, I'll go under the bed where the ghost lady can't get me for some.
I did actually like this scene, though, because I thought it was very creepy when he did go under the bed and he looked up.
And this is almost shot for shot from the original.
Oh, really?
The differences are, it's not a bed in the original, it's a couch. And a guy jumps over it and is hiding behind it. And the scary woman is, in the original, is just a woman. She's just a lady. Mm-hmm. But she's moving very slowly. Not like Ring creepy crawly type, like weird movements. She takes a few steps forward and then she like lifts her arm and then like reaches down.
It's kind of graceful.
A few. Yeah, I was like, I wouldn't say this is scary. I would for sure try to leave the room.
Yeah.
I got places to go, but I'm not so scared that I can't run past her through the door. Which is sort of how I felt in this scene with Stone. I was like, just make a run for it.
She's gone very slow. Yeah.
Just make a run for it. Bolt, dude.
But that's
how big is Josh's apartment, though? Is it a 2-bedroom apartment?
I think
he's got one bedroom dedicated to a ghost lady?
Yeah. Yes.
It was his computer room.
Ghost lady. Do you think he calls her his like? He's like, well, I gotta get home to the old ball and chain that I keep in the red tape room.
Oh, Maddie must be so upset with that.
I mean, wouldn't it be the old boo and chain though?
God damn it,
Nate! So Stone gets his happiness dementored out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Maddie calls him and can tell over the phone. And he won't answer her. So she goes to Josh's apartment to try to get rid of the laptop. And it's just occurring to me. Here's my question. The first time Maddie goes to Josh's, the time he kills himself, she fetches a key from above the door. When Stone goes, he has to climb in through the window over the door. How did Maddie get in this time? Did she climb in through the...
Well, no, she met up with Octavia. What was that a different...
Oh, you're right. Octavia Spencer was there. She gets to the apartment. Octavia Spencer is there. And this is where we have that pretty racist scene.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And presumably Octavia Spencer cleaned out the ghost bedroom.
Yeah.
And didn't get impacted.
Yeah. No, literally nobody's having any sort of like, this is weird. Or, a ghost also got me.
Maybe when Stone left, the ghost vacated too.
Maybe when she sold the computer, which is about to happen. Maybe it was in the computer.
Oh, yeah, maybe she unplugged the router and then Ghost Lady disappeared.
Yeah, she seemed to not mess around.
So, spoiler, the ghosts need a Wi-Fi connection.
or
any
the
connection.
cellular network.
Or the cellular network. So Maddie gets there and Octavia Spencer tells her, oh, I sold that computer to some guy. And she like weirdly kept this guy's contact information in a safe that she delivers to Maddie. I don't know. That just felt weird.
Why would you keep any record of fencing stolen goods?
That's a good point.
Also, she accepted a check from this guy, which later bounced. Ladies, this is Craigslist 101. Cash or get out the door.
It's like, are you a shitty landlord or not? Because a shitty landlord is not accepting checks from anyone. You are demanding cash for this weird 2-bedroom apartment that someone died in.
Venmo is okay. PayPal is okay. Checks? That's fraud. So Maddie gets this contact info from Octavia Spencer and goes and tracks down
Ian Somerhalder. I don't know the name.
Man.
Dex.
It's Dex. Is it Dexter?
Which is Dexter. It is Dexter.
Yeah,
does he go by
Dexter? But he goes by Dex. Yeah.
And she's like, you bitch, you've been masquerading as my dead ex-boyfriend. How dare you? And he shows her that the computer is still in the trunk of his car. He hasn't even plugged it in. And here's what I wanted to bring up earlier. Like, you can sign in from any computer as anyone.
I don't know, Kelly.
Back down.
Do you know anything about computers? Have you?
I mean, I know a thing or two. I thought it was funny even from the AIM sign on that they were like, we got to go unplug his computer. And I was like, you got to deactivate his account. Like, what are you like? Accounts are not whatever. I don't know. You all know how accounts work. 2022.
I mean, imagine if they got in a chat with Laura from Unfriended, right?
Yeah, what are we going to do with that?
You'd be like, why doesn't somebody just unplug your computer? Well, it's been unplugged for a long time.
Well,
it might be something else.
That was way later. Maybe accounts came a long way between 2006 and 2013.
It's true. So Ian Somerhalder is fixing his own car that he also has the computer in. Is that? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, it sounds like he doesn't have
because he lives in a garage on the outside of town.
Yeah, it's like
where he
warehouse.
Has these like open murder factory aesthetic.
Is it to set up the character that he's a bad boy?
He's from the wrong side of the tracks for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that smile, that's from everybody's heart.
But what it also establishes is after Maddie leaves, he goes up and plugs in Josh's computer, and he's got like 1,000 computers in his weird murder warehouse. What's he doing with all his computers? Why do you need so many?
He's probably just downloading one pornographic movie at a time on each one because he doesn't have the
dial up.
power.
So you had to like.
No, you guys.
I mean, otherwise he's mining crypto, but I don't think he could.
Not yet.
So then we're back with Maddie, and she gets a package from Josh from before he died, and it's just like an Amazon package of 3 rolls of red tape.
Arguably not enough to actually cover anyone's individual apartment. It's like,
if you care for her, send her like a whole bushel. 3 rolls are not going to get the job done.
But then they proceed to split it up between them, and I was like, one each? Okay, so during the smoke season, we did duct tape all of our windows. Maybe the expectation was every crack, and not
do you say an entire window airtight?
Okay, because I was going to say, why wouldn't you just wrap yourself in the red tape? It seems like way easier to cover yourself in red tape than it is to try to completely cover the environment.
You could make yourself like a little dome of red tape.
Yeah, you could have like a crazy contraption suit made out of red tape. And you could wear like sunglasses that have the red tape on them, and maybe I don't know how you do it. Honestly, the rules of this don't seem particularly clear.
You're welcome.
She was thinking about those good times with Josh, back when things were simpler.
Yeah, and sexier.
Oh yeah, sun dappled and dewy.
Were they sun dappled? They seem very pale.
Well, I mean, there was sun dappling them. I don't think
Okay.
they were
The dapple
definitely.
part is what you have a problem with, not dewy.
I'm not here to judge that. That's fine.
I guess some things were probably dewy. Anyway, while they're splitting up their red tape, we see on the news that suicides are very common in the area, which is not atypical. Like historically, for example, when Kurt Cobain killed himself, there was like a rash of suicides in the news. You see it in high schools. One kid does it, and then there's like a flood of people who follow suit. So I understand why they didn't panic at this news straight away. I understand why this looked not. I was going to say not acceptable. It's not acceptable, but expected, or at least not unexpected.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how many it would have happened to, though. Like, I'm not trying to compare it to the pandemic that's I am going to compare it to the pandemic that's happening. So the first cases were in Washington, but even before that, I was like, we need to go buy masks. We need to go do all these things. So if I had seen that news report, I would have tried so hard to figure out what it was.
That's your ghost hunter spirit talking.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kelly. That was the nicest thing you could have said to me.
Oh, I'm glad.
Thank you.
So we know all these suicides are happening, and this is when the one girl like climbs the water tower and just throws herself off the side.
I guess I don't remember that.
I am also drawing a blank. That happened?
I remember it from the original.
Yeah, because there's like this girl just like climbs up the outside of the water tower on campus, I think, and just sort of like stands there and then rocks and falls off, and it's like the most gruesome thing because they all the way down. And then you also have like Maddie riding the bus and her professor from the opening scene, who is established as just being boring because he's trying to teach them something, is just absentmindedly walking into the bus. He doesn't get killed.
I wouldn't say absentmindedly. He like does it on purpose. He walks out and then looks at the bus and then walks toward the bus. Like We
haven't talked about this, but is this just The Happening? But it's not the...
I haven't seen The Happening.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you what it is then.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But at some point, the handsome man, Dexter finds Maddie and is like, I got to show you something. I've gotten your dead ex-boyfriend's computer online, and there's some crazy shit on here.
I've been watching all of these horrible snuff videos for the last 2 hours, and now I want you to watch them, which makes a lot of sense.
And some of these videos are from the original movie. Like the person taking the mask off, that's from the original.
Oh.
I am curious. In the original, there's like writing on the wall behind the person taking off the mask.
In the original?
In the original. Was there writing in this one too?
Yeah, it was, because I was like, this reminded me of Stranger Things.
What did it say?
It didn't say, you couldn't tell. It had an ED, but I couldn't tell the other part of the word.
Okay. He's showing her these snuff videos of just people either killing themselves or not really doing anything, but looking directly into the camera. And I really liked the scene because Maddie asks him, how long have you been watching these? And he says something like, how long have they been watching me?
Yeah.
I liked that we're establishing that it feels like they can see you too.
And that pays off. That gets paid off later. The abyss looking into you. It's a very Nietzschean film.
Oof,
okay.
Yeah.
No, let's dive into that.
Right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we finally made it to the part where we can talk about the theory, like the philosophy of the movie.
I mean, it's a tale of existential ennui predicated by technological advances that outpace the Ubermensch's ability to reign over society.
That's what I wanted. So in the next scene is when we see the professor walking into the bus. And then Maddie goes to the therapist and is like, something is following me. And he's like, girl, nah, you're better
You're a girl.
than this.
How could that? Nothing's following you. Don't worry about it.
And he gives her, I'm reluctant to use the word advice. He tells her that she needs to face whatever is following her because he doesn't believe that it is literally real, that it is like something in her psyche and she needs to face it. And this is when she goes to the bathroom, Chelsea.
Yeah.
So she goes to the bathroom after talking to the therapist, and she's alone in the bathroom, but then something spooky comes into the bathroom. She can't see it. We can. It's one of these Matrix ghosts comes into the bathroom and then enters the stall next to her. And this was a weird scene. She's like listening against the stall wall, and creepy Matrix ghost also has his face against the stall.
Is he whispering?
I can't remember. Maybe. I feel like he was moving his hand up and down against the wall.
Maybe. She definitely heard a sound. Otherwise, she wouldn't have put her ear there. I don't remember what she heard.
She gets out of her stall and opens that stall, doesn't see anything, and is like, I'm just being silly. So she like washes her hands or whatever. But then in the reflection behind her, the stall door closes very slowly. And then she looks under the stall and you can see a shadow. So like something is there. So she runs out, which agreed.
Yeah. That was good tension.
Wait.
That was good tension.
And the eyeball.
And then the eyeball.
It's like, hi.
In the in the crack of the stall. Yeah, she sees the eye. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So next scene, Tim goes to Stone's house to check on him. This scene is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stone is being like sucked into the wall.
You know how you.
Which very cool. Looked
very
pretty good.
Cool. Yeah.
Looked pretty good for the age of the film.
And shout out to Tim for trying to help him and like yank him out instead of trying to run away.
Even though it's weird that Tim is like not at all connected to the main character on whom he has a massive crush for the entire rest of his life in the movie. It's like, yep, you're definitely never going on a date now, Tim.
So my question about this is, in this situation, you get the life force sucked out of you, and are they like, you can do A, end it yourself, or B, we end it for you? Is there an option given to them whenever that happens? Because that's what he said. He was like, I don't want to do it myself. Whenever he started getting sucked into the wall, he said, I don't want to do it myself.
That. Yeah, I had the same thought because it doesn't. None of the suicides that happened before seem to be an alternative to something, and I guess that would be the thing. Like, if this was your only way of not becoming a digitized ghost was to do it yourself so that you didn't get caught up in the thing, it would make sense. But if it's an either or, I don't know. Like, you would think that you would just have so much ennui that you would let it go.
A digitized ghost. Josh ended it himself and still becomes a digitized ghost.
Yeah, it's true. He does. So
but I guess,
So why would it matter? Why would you even? What's the significance of the line that Chelsea's
I have a lot of feelings in the end. Yeah, I was going to say that's what I wanted to talk about is what exactly it all means. But I guess we have to get there. we still have like 50% of the movie to get through.
Okay, let's do a speed run.
Speed run.
So Maddie starts seeing stuff on her computer screen while she's like asleep. So she unplugs it and turns it away. And this is only important because that's going to come back. Then I cannot remember his name. Dexter comes back and is like, I found more stuff on his computer. I found like a video diary of Josh trying to talk to somebody about what has happened. And we learned that Josh fancied himself a little hacker, and he had hacked his way into somebody's software and released these Matrix ghosts. And he's trying to get in touch with the creator to find out what they are and how to stop them. Oh my God. Okay. I know we're trying to do a speed run. This is a tangent. I apologize.
I'm so excited. I'm here for this.
Speed tangent.
At some point, Dexter and Maddie go to a diner and they're talking about what all they've learned. And some guy.
Oh, yeah.
When that guy chimed in, I was like, I fucking know who that guy is. Who is that guy? He is from one of the best X-Files episodes. He is Luther Lee Boggs. In the X-Files, he is an inmate on death row. He's about to be executed, but he claims that he is like a prophet and can see visions specifically about a crime that Mulder and Scully are investigating. So
yeah, Brad Dourif. That's the actor's name, Brad Dourif.
Luther Lee Boggs.
Yeah.
So when he showed up, I was like, I know this motherfucker, Luther Lee Boggs. I was glad to see him.
So you think that, I mean, it's a misdirect because you sort of think, oh, this guy gets it. But he doesn't actually, because he's clearly just the crazy diner guy that says this to everybody. Any other day of the year when this stuff wasn't happening, he would have said the same shit.
He's old man yells at cloud, you know? Like,
he is the voice of Chucky in Chucky 3 and the new Chucky's. Chucky 2. He is Chucky. He's Chucky. He's Chucky.
This is a synchronicity.
I'm ashamed.
Oh my
God. He's Chucky. I'm Chucky. We're all Chucky.
This is amazing. Oh my God. I didn't realize Luther Lee Boggs was Chucky. Okay.
It is. He plays Charles Lee Ray, who is the killer that then
Charles
becomes
Lee
Chucky.
Ray. Luther
that
Lee
becomes
Boggs.
Chucky. Oh my gosh, you guys.
This is amazing.
I'm so happy.
This is so fun.
Anywho, what's happening in the movie?
Yeah, Izzy gets the do you want to see a ghost link? And so she sees this live stream of spooky folk that Dexter showed Maddie. Oh, and there's like a throwaway scene. It's just a transition between other important scenes in the movie of somebody on campus posting a flyer on a common message board that says,
"Oh, you said message board, like a real message board, though. We need to specify like that."
Syntax. Do you need a babysitter? Take a tab.
I'm looking for a bassist for a band that I'm starting.
Exactly, like old school, like corkboard message board. He's posting a flyer that explains how to keep them out. Red tape, make sure your room is airtight, disconnect from the internet.
If he knew that, why would he be out in public?
Don't forget the keyhole. Because he wants to help people. He's figured it out. He wants to help people.
Can you make a room airtight and not die?
That was my question.
So I have tried that last year when the wildfires happened, and I duct taped everything. And then I had to buy a little thing to tell me that my carbon monoxide was too high.
Do you not have carbon monoxide detectors in your apartment?
Dioxide. Wait, what do we breathe out? Dioxide.
Dioxide, yeah.
I did have one in my apartment, but I had to buy a carbon dioxide thing to make sure that I wasn't breathing out too much.
See, the ideal is to have an airtight space with a lot of plants in it. And then you can exhale all you want because they're going to process that shit for you.
Exactly. I only have one house plant, and my cat eats it every time, so I don't have more than that.
I have something like 80 houseplants.
Yeah, Kelly, you could survive. You could thrive. You could thrive.
I'm gonna. You know what?
You know what? You thrive, girl.
So now is our favorite scene. Now is the laundry scene.
Yay!
Yay! So Izzy is doing her laundry, and you know who's there? It's Ricky.
Garfunkel or Oates? One of them.
Either Garfunkel or Oates, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ricky Lindholm.
Blondo. So she's there. She just has a little teeny tiny role wherein she's kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Laundry rooms bring that out in people, though.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's true. I hate laundry rooms. And I always leave whenever somebody was in my shared laundry room.
Well, it's uncomfortable. It's like, this is not for everyone to experience with me. It's not even that I'm embarrassed about my under things. Mm-hmm. It's just like, no. This is my time. Mm-hmm. Laundry is like a meditative experience. And if I'm going to do it, I don't want anybody having my fucking business.
Amen.
Yeah, fuck you, Ricky.
Oh.
Ricky do lose that number.
Is every that a drink?
That's a Steely Dan drink for the over 40 set. Okay.
So Ricky leaves. And Izzy is just there doing her laundry, and there's like creepy noises. And the creepy ghost octopuses his way out of the washing machine.
For sure. But would you not? I would close it. 100% close that door before I looked into it.
When the laundry starts moving around on its own?
Yeah, it was coming out. I would be like, fuck that. I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to like get my flashlight and look in.
Yeah, it was like the library scene, like piece of laundry flying out, piece of laundry flying out. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'd close it.
I think I'm just a coward, but if my laundry was moving under its own power in the dryer, I think I would run the fuck out of there because best case, it's some sort of very dry animal that is not going to be happy.
We just found out you're not a ghost hunter, Nate.
It's true.
Yeah, you're not a ghost hunter.
I'm really more of a ghost evader.
Which is probably safe. Definitely more safe.
You'd think so, but peepholes have a way of resulting in death.
I am not even sure if I would look. I think that is something that's so innocuous. I think I just close it to be like, boy, that is somebody else's problem. Like, this is a pipe situation.
Yeah. Not my machine.
I would be firmly in the pipe problem. I would be like, I do not want to call apartment management. like, I'm just going to close this, finish my laundry, and whoever loaded their laundry into that one has to deal with it. Like, sorry, you drew the short stick. So then we're back to Dex, and he says that he found the virus that Josh was working on. So Josh was working on a virus to undo letting all of these Matrix ghosts out in the world. And did you guys see what it was called?
No, I missed it.
Redtape.exe.
Redtape.exe.
Much like exorcism.exe.
Exorcism.exe. We just need an exe up in here. But as he discovers this, something spooky is moving around his apartment. We're seeing those like shimmers in the background, you know? And while all of this is happening, we're seeing like flashes of somebody red taping their apartment on the windows, on the seams. And that we later learn is Ziegler.
Do we? I thought that was just random people.
I think it was Ziegler.
I mean, that would make sense.
So that's who Josh was trying to contact this whole time. He's the one who created whatever he hacked into to release.
Ziegler created a super internet?
Basically.
The broadest band?
Yeah.
It's so broad that it touches between life and death.
When he describes it, he's like, we found frequencies that nobody even knew were there. And I was like, the frequencies are monotonically increasing. Like, you can guess that there's a... like, what do you mean? What is it that you mean?
Yeah. Well, I think the answer to every single one of these things is that everyone in the writer's room, one, they were like, oh, there are two different types of computers? We didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, frequencies increase monotonically? I don't know what any of those words mean, but I know that frequency sounds like computer talk. So it's going in the script.
Wasn't there a really nice movie, Frequency, about a man who talked to his father?
Yeah, isn't it Dennis Quaid in Jim the Bloody Jesus Caviezel?
Yeah, sweet. Sorry.
So at some point, we have established that Maddie unplugged and turned off her computer, but at some point it starts dinging. And so she flips around the monitor, and Tim is there in one of these snuff film live feed. Poor Tim is just like, I just wanted to see you.
He called her.
He called her, but not on screen.
It was weird because he was looking at him but saying words.
Yeah, her phone call is like a conversation with Tim, but the screen is just Tim looking at her.
Well, and Tim gets got previously because he's taping his whole apartment, right? And then he gets it through the peephole.
Mm-hmm.
But
people.
How did he know? Like, did he learn to tape his whole apartment from that one cryptic message from Josh?
He felt
Question mark? Why didn't Maddie tape her whole apartment?
And if Tim is so hung up on Maddie, why didn't he tell her, hey,
why didn't he tape them together? We will be safe if we're taped together.
Yeah.
Come on.
I had enough tape for two people. Maybe not. All three of them had to tape together.
Two people.
I don't know if that's enough tape.
I still don't even understand like why Tim looked through the peephole, because I don't feel like he's like inside taping everything, and then for whatever reason he just decides to look through the one open orifice in his perfectly sealed.
I think it was going to get through that peephole whether or not he looked, you know.
Well, he
pulled up the tape. If the tape was on it, they couldn't get through.
Tim, you dumb idiot.
Maybe he thought Maddie was coming and she was going to be like, hey, Tim, before the world ends, we need to kiss a couple of times because I really liked you in Freaks and Geeks. Okay, bye.
I like that your imagination there is that Tim just wants some smooches.
Well,
that's all he's looking for.
Tim's 5'2".
Like, maybe we can hold hands for a little while.
Yeah.
He just had his bar mitzvah. He's just doing like he's not thinking long term. He's just thinking
Tim
what's right in front of him.
Tim is not Ian Smolderholder where he's like, yeah, I really want to like we're boning down because look at this jawline. Tim is like, if we can cuddle for the night, I'm great. And I'll probably think we're in a relationship for the next 4 years.
Aw, Tim.
Yeah. But Tim's dead, so that's cool.
Yeah. What a bummer.
Yeah, Tim's pretty dead. And so is Izzy, which is what happens next. So
she finds Izzy on the bed? She finds
Izzy. She's like burritoed up in her bed, and she's got the like...
Which we haven't discussed, black veins. Yeah,
she's got like the black veins, which the people who last long enough have these weird black veins.
Like the kind that the janitor was scrubbing off the wall!
Exactly! And Izzy, like, disappears very quickly. She doesn't kill herself. She dissolves into ash. But it was, like, at the point that she gave up on life. She told Maddie, they're after you two, and there's nothing you can do. And then she dissolved.
But did every person have, like, a ticking clock on them? Because exactly like, who was the first one? Not Lips.
Josh?
Stone. Good friend Stone. Stone felt like he didn't want to go.
No.
And he went. So I don't know if they had a specific amount of time that was like, you got this amount of time until I'm gonna fuck it up for you.
Yeah, that's interesting because if Stone didn't want to kill himself,
yeah,
which would imply that he still wanted to live.
Mm-hmm.
Which would imply that he wasn't like harvestable yet.
That's a good point. That's what we need to talk about at the end. So, speed run.
Okay, so Dexter comes to get Maddie. Finally, he is believing her because he saw the spooky, weird visages. They decide to go look for Ziegler. So they leave in his car. There's a car accident because whoever was driving that car dissolved. So the car is empty. Empty car crashes into them, and they're like, fuck. So they're just walking through town, and they run into a group of people who tell them, you need to get out of the city. It's a group of people who don't seem like they knew each other before the apocalypse, and they've sort of hooked up.
Which is the point of the movie when I was like, I wish more of the movie was this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like, it's a group of people, and they're like, you have to get out of town. They need internet to reach you. We have to get out of the city so that we can get into dead zones, and then you'll be safe. You have to leave. But Maddie and Dex are like, no, we're going further in to find Ziegler, which they do. They do find him, and they burst into his apartment, which is sealed with red tape. They find Ziegler, and he's like in a wardrobe that he's also red taped. He's got like layers of security, but they get in, and he's like, what the fuck? So he closes the door and reseals it. And they're like, oh God. And here's where I have a lot of computer questions. They're like, where's your server? And he's like, it's in the basement. So their whole goal is to get this thumb drive that Josh had of the virus to the server.
Why was the camcorder there?
The camcorder?
There was a camcorder that he had taped around, but it was like in the middle of the room.
Oh.
Maybe I made that up.
Is that how the ghosts were making themselves into movies? They were going in the camcorder?
So am I making up the scene? Did I just project this onto it that I would expect a camcorder to be in it?
I don't know.
I don't.
You guys don't remember it, and I thought it stuck out pretty hardcore. Oh, fuck. I'm going to have to go look at that because now I feel like I am a crazy person. I could have sworn there was a camcorder, though.
Maybe. I don't really remember. I remember that he tells them the story about the super broadband.
It's so It's frequencies.
It's just so broad. It's so broad. And so all of these weird Matrix ghosts start flooding in, and they can't stop them, and they don't really understand what's happening. And there happens to be red tape in the utility closet, and they try to tape them out, try to harbor themselves in the utility closet, and the Matrix ghosts can't get in, and therefore red tape is the solution. But here's my computer question is, Maddie and Dex are like, we need to get to your server to upload this virus. Here's where my brain short-circuited because of how computers work. So if this problem is internationally present,
if it's propagated across the internet, not isolated to a single server's single computer experience.
Exactly. So
what does it matter if you do one computer?
It's all over the internet. You could have just done this from your laptop.
Yeah.
Any internet connection would have sufficed. If it is somehow related to this server, Chelsea's right.
That sure is
Ziegler's room.
She's pulled up a shot of a.
Honestly, it was really forgettable. So if everyone forgot it. That's fine.
Is that where Josh shot the video of himself talking?
No, because Josh never got in touch with Ziegler.
Okay, see, and this confused me. I thought Josh and Ziegler were together and hacked this thing open.
I don't think he ever met Ziegler.
They just never met?
They never met. I think that Ziegler responded to Josh's email once.
See, if that was the case, I wish Ziegler was more evidently not also a college student.
Yeah, he's just like a punk kid who invited ghosts into the world on
was he?
internship.
I thought he was like a part of a research project.
Yeah, that sounds like a
that's a good point.
Summer project. But what I'm saying is, if you have to be on these servers, like if these servers are the problem, unplug them.
Yeah, turn these off.
I thought about that. Whenever Ian's homework, Dexter, whenever they finally take that redtape.exe and are like, we're going to shove that into that thing, Kristen Bell goes down first and she's like, shit's crazy. I can't do it. This is not going to happen. And he was like, no, we got to do it.
Tries to dementor her and she has another vision of Josh. And then Foxy McFoxerson just puts his hand in between Ghosty
I feel like that, if that's all it takes, we could have stopped all of this from happening.
You could put your own hand in front of the thing. No one's reaction is to be like
like if you just put your hand and push them away. If Lips did the thing where he just pushed, was that his name? Stone. If he just pushed Dancing Lady away, would that have
he
just
been fine? He
was like, fuck this is my life, bitch.
Their two downfalls are red tape and hands.
The two things they don't have because they're ghosts.
Maybe this is what we're supposed to learn, is that we need to take control and use our hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really
push
utilitarian. It's a rugged individualist movie.
So he saves Kristen Bell and then he goes back in to plug in redtape.exe and the system shuts down briefly.
Yeah.
And things seem better. But then it reboots and that goes back to just unplug it. Like if these are the computers that are the problem.
I'm glad I had the same thought.
Yeah.
I was like, before it reboots, don't let it reboot.
This is not how computers work. You know what I'm saying?
Are you sure?
I'm so confident. Like if the problem is in the internet, no specific computer is the problem. If a specific computer is the problem, you don't need a virus. Just shut it off. And then, I don't know, take out the pieces and jump on them. You know what I'm saying? So that you can't turn it back on, you know?
Which would have been a great scene in the movie if part of the, if there were like, if the motherboard had ghosts coming out, tiny ghosts, and he's just stomping on them and they're like, get out of here.
Well, obviously Dexter was supposed to understand computers and he obviously didn't.
He had all those computers in his weird house.
Yeah.
The one thing he did right, he inserted the flash drive correctly on the first try, which no one is capable of doing.
You know what? I bet they cut out scenes of him like
just
you know
running
how you have
it
to do it like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like first time doesn't work, second time doesn't work, third time works for some reason.
Yeah,
I bet they cut that out.
So Dex uploads redtape.exe, the system reboots, And he is just like, fuck it, let's get out of here. So he goes and collects Maddie.
So she was willing to just hang out alone.
After an entire wall of ghost arms had enveloped her briefly, she's like,
Yeah.
I'll just
She's like,
I'll
"This
just
is
wait for this
fine."
to reboot.
And also, like, I want to be clear that the ghosts are just a ton of people. It's not just like one ghost
Right. It's
One-
like thousands
one
of ghosts.
entity. It's a ton of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that in this part, we're supposed to wonder whether she has been dementored.
Yeah. And then he
Oh,
comes at her and he's like, "Well, are you okay?"
Yeah. So she gets maybe dementored, and he collects her. And when he leaves her, she's just sort of stunned. And I think that we're supposed to be like, oh shit, is Kristen Bell okay? Or is she about to kill herself? So he comes back to her and he's like, we got to run. And it's a good sign that she's like, yeah, dog, let's run. So they bolt. They're like out in the parking lot trying to find a car that they can get into. And a plane crashes into the school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a
That's-
lot of ghost people.
Lots of ghost people out like watching them from the ramparts of the school.
They are going to school in a fort.
Yes. And then they finally find this old beater truck. They establish they've got half a tank of gas and they start driving. They're like, let's just drive and see how far we get. And I've got a couple questions about that.
Ooh.
I know they're trying to leave the city. You can still get gas, right?
I was gonna say you want to avoid gas pumps unless it is the one that has like the ticking amount. Otherwise, if it is electrical, they could come through it.
Because it
Guess
still
so.
should be connected to some sort of payment processing system for the credit cards, right? A modem.
When was the gas crisis? When did we have to start paying at the pump?
You mean like the 70s gas crisis?
No, it was within my life.
Was it when it was like $5?
I think it might have been around 9/11.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. It could have been that. It could have been around Hurricane Katrina too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yes, they should be able to get some gas somewhere.
Should be able to
Yeah.
get gas
Presumably.
somewhere.
I did a lot of like cross country driving in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We went to a lot of gas stations in between towns. Some of them still had the tickers.
Yeah, I've been to
I
That
feel
weren't
like this
even
is a case
electronic.
where Dexter is he's just price shopping.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, Kristen Bell's like, hey, can we please look the $2.95? Come on.
And
No,
he's
no.
like, "It's an
I swear
apocalypse.
I
We
can
could do
get-
better.
I can get $2.94.5. I will find $2.94.5. We're gonna get that gas. We just got to go a little bit further down the highway where
Okay, here's another question I have. They know that they have to get out of the city to get out of the network.
What do you mean by the network?
Internet.
I think
Yeah,
that they see
yeah.
it as the visibility of the ghosts. I'm going to go as far as I can't see ghosts anymore.
All I'm saying is that ragtag group of people they found when they were looking for Ziegler fully said to them, they need the internet. I saw them come out of the computer, get out of the city so that you are not on the internet.
They did
Yeah.
say that.
you've got to find a hole in your wireless coverage
They said,
and go
get
sit
out
there.
of the network.
So if you turn off your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on your phone, are you okay?
And yet, Kristen Bell did not do this. And also, they did not drive out of network. In fact, we see their truck stopped on the side of the road. And do you know what's behind them? Big old towers of cables. And I was like, you dumb bitches. You're not where you need to be.
You're not getting away from anything.
I assumed that they had run out of gas. I was like, okay, this is as far as they got. They're still in network. That sucks dicks.
I feel
But
like they were
then-
tired.
Yeah, they were tired.
You know, from
Tired of being alive.
everything that. Yeah.
Take a drink.
Oh.
But here's my argument. Half a tank of gas in a 20-year-old truck is not going to get you very far. They couldn't go. And also,
Are they
12
going to
miles a day.
Pennsylvania or Indiana?
what?
Ohio?
Ohio.
They were in
They're in
Ohio.
Ohio. So yeah, they could get possibly to Illinois.
I would go to, yeah, that's the way I would go. I wouldn't go the other way. Pennsylvania, fine. West Virginia.
I'd be going north.
just straight into the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
No internet underwater.
Into the water.
Exactly.
Maybe they did go north.
You know how the original one ends? They're on a boat.
You can't get any signal in international waters. That's why everything is legal there.
Here's what I'm upset about is I know that they could have gone farther. I know that they did not have to drive very far to get to this point if they have not yet run out of gas. And then the Matrix ghosts start attacking them.
Yes.
But they just heard on the radio that it has to do with network. And the radio was like, throw your Blackberries away. Like, oh, okay.
Get rid of your Palm Pilots.
Yeah. Like, oh, that's a time. And Kristen Bell's phone is on the dash. And it's not until she like realizes that the ghosts attack.
Well, because the signal bar also like flickers on to 1.
But it was never 0. You know, it was like 3 to 5 bars.
So the ghosts were just too garbled to be effective.
I guess so. So then they drive like 50 feet and they're suddenly out of network and the ghosts are gone. And I was so mad because I was like, you know that it has to do with computers and network. Why did you bring your fucking phone? Throw that away. Why do you have your phone? She finally tosses it. And then there's like a weird voiceover of them driving into the depths of Ohio, I guess.
Could be Indiana, could be Michigan. We don't
Indiana
really know.
Michigan.
Pennsylvania, West Virginia.
It's Kristen Bell. And she says, we can never go back.
Gossip Girl.
The cities are theirs.
XOXO.
XOXO. Go piss, girl. Do you know that meme?
What? No, I didn't know that one.
That's fun. I like that.
Okay, I'll Google that.
So she says that they can never go back to the cities. They are the ghosts now. They belong to the Matrix ghosts. Here's my question. That infrastructure will crumble pretty quickly. Like, as a software developer, I know how quickly infrastructure crumbles. That's my whole thing. I do infrastructure. It's not going to last forever unless, and here's what I want to get your take on. Do you think there are little ghosts training to be like network engineers who are making sure
that's the only way to get through it, really?
Load balancers.
For sure.
I think the bigger question is like, no major American city is powered on any sustainable electricity.
Oh, for sure.
I guess like anywhere with a nuclear power plant might still be going.
Survive.
But like coal and gas will also degrade after a period of time,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're gonna like the train that delivers the coal is going to not arrive because the guy who drives the train has been ghost suicided, and that's going to be the end of that.
A little ghost in a little engineer's cap is now like tooting his way across the country.
Are we on the ghost side now? Like, have we switched over? I mean, if he's a conductor, I'm going to toot.
That's a good question for the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we on the ghost side at the end? Because she says something to the effect of, we're trying to live and they're trying to live and no one's ever going to stop trying to live. And that's sort of like, just that's the line in the sand.
Yeah.
It's like, these ghosts are not happy being ghosts. So they're going to exist in our world via
But do they even exist? Like, that's my question. If they suck in the life of them, does it do anything? Do they become people? Like, is it like a hit of a drug?
See, like in the Japanese, in the original movie, the implication is that there is nothing more painful than the loneliness of being eternally dead. So they are just bringing people into that loneliness in sort of a haphazard and futile attempt to not be lonely anymore, even though everybody who enters is just lonely.
Super
like
lonely.
Even when a bunch of ghosts are hanging out, I guess they're not having fun. Like they can't just like chill.
And is that commentary on real life?
Yeah, because I don't think anybody's lonely in any aspect of Pulse 2006.
Yeah.
People are all having normal social lives, and it's disrupted by, hey guys, don't mess with technology. Technology's scary. Don't do it. You don't know what Pandora's box you're going to. Oh, it's full of ghosts.
Your therapist from, what is it, Brothers and Sisters?
Brothers and Sisters.
He describes Josh as being profoundly lonely, but he's like a character that we don't trust.
Well, and he's using it. I think he's using it in a derogatory way. He's trying to say like, well, your friend was lonely, so he killed himself, and that's not your fault.
Yeah,
you need to face the fact that sometimes people are too lonely to help. And it was like, I don't like that.
Is he projecting because he felt that way about his daughter?
Probably, yeah. But again, like, I feel like so much is cut out of this movie where we could have developed anybody. Like,
let's call up Wes Craven.
Let's get that Wes Craven cut.
Hashtag
Wes
release
Craven
the Craven cut. Because, yeah, it feels like it just, because the movie becomes so markedly different and, to me, more interesting when they are trying to just escape, when they finally give up on everything and they're running away. And I really was sitting there like, I would have taken another half an hour of this post-apocalyptic no internet living thing where everybody's just trying to survive. That could have been
an entire movie.
Well, yeah, it could have been its own whole thing. I don't know about you guys, but like, I never felt connected to Josh or Tim or Stone or Izzy as anything other than traditional teen movie stand-in characters. You know?
Yeah.
You got Kristen Bell. She's everybody probably just on this movie campus is like, she's a 7 when really she's a 12. And then there's Izzy, and Izzy's the movie 15. And then there's Stoner guy, who's just like, he's smarter than he looks, but he never actually shows you anything because nobody gets developed at all. We act like we're supposed to care about all these characters. Nobody gets that developed. And then we immediately just jump over to Ian Somerhalder's character instead and abandon 4 undeveloped characters.
Do they bank on people being obsessed with these characters in different aspects? Because Kristen Bell, Veronica Mars, Ian Somerhalder's character was in Lost. Rick Gonzalez was in Reaper. I don't know if it was at the same time, but each character had an existence outside of it. So were they banking on us being attached to the people themselves before they became the character?
Yeah,
I wonder if that was like a
shortcut.
Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't give it longevity. Like it doesn't make it useful now. Like us rewatching it now, we're like, these characters were very important at the time, but are they important now?
Yeah, can you make an entire compelling movie surrounded by it people who stop being it at some point and just aren't anything super fleshed out?
Yeah. And I say that, and I love every one of the actors and characters in this movie, so absolutely no negativity towards them. But yeah, I think that's something that, like, horror movies specifically, they're like, let me just grab people that are important right now, and people already have a connection to these people. And I know we were talking about earlier when we were talking about Kristen Bell establishing the fact that Maddie was important and she like had a relationship with her mom and she cried at some point. So we're supposed to be attached to her. But I realized that the moment you guys were talking about it, I was attached to her because of Veronica Mars. So like, I wonder how many horror movies do that where they just grab these actors, these people that people are already attached to kill them off because they already have an attachment to them.
Yeah, you're like, no, don't stab Buffy. She just became prom queen.
Exactly.
She didn't know what she was doing last summer. She didn't know.
I will say I didn't watch Veronica Mars. I have no attachment to Kristen Bell apart from her very emotional response to sloths on Ellen.
She does have a very emotional.
Okay, so yeah, maybe I did care because of the sloths. Point rescinded.
Yeah, I mean, I like her from The Good Place. She was great in The Good Place, but that came so much later.
Yeah,
that I couldn't help but look and be like, oh, it's like Kristen Bell was a little kiddo at one point.
Little baby Kristen Bell. Yeah.
Just a little emo.
But I could tell, like, the worst part, because I know we talked about this in A Vague Idea, is Veronica Mars. I knew it was between season 2 and season 3 because of her haircut. That's how obsessed I was with that show.
This explains your love of Ghost Hunter because Veronica Mars is a crime hunter. So you've just been into
gotta hunt
detection
the
whole time.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it. I got a criminal justice degree. Like I have an obsession with finding out the truth.
I got a ghost justice degree.
I'd be so happy if that's what I got.
No, I wish that I got that. I got a computer science degree like a dork.
But who's going to defend Candyman in court now?
Okay. Is this the end of the movie?
I think
are we at the end?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been Never Show the Monster. I'm Kelly Attaway.
I'm Chelsea Hollander.
And with us is Nate Ragolia. Nate, plug your stuff.
Well, hey, thanks so much for having me on the show. I also do a podcast called A Vague Idea. It is a comedy trivia show. It's kind of a game show. And you were both on it recently to talk about ghosts.
Ghosts.
So you can check that out wherever you find podcasts. I do some other podcasts too. You can Google me. I'm the only one with my name on the internet. So if you Google it, you'll find all the things that I've done.
And I'll try to provide links to some of what he's done in the episode description. And if you want to find us, we are on Twitter at NoShowMonster, and you can email us at noshowmonster@gmail.com. And remember, if you send us your address, we will send you some free stickers of our show art. And we will see you next week. Thank you so much. Happy Spookies.
Happy
Happy
Spookies.
Spookies.
Hey gang, this is Kelly. Astute listeners may have noticed we didn't mention what movie to watch next, and the reason for that is simple. We had not planned that far in advance. But I am from the future. Our next series will be on the subject of loss, and first up is The Possession of Michael King, a found footage flick wherein an atheist pursues proof of the supernatural. I rented it on Amazon, but you can also find it for free with ads in a couple places. Just plug it into justwatch.com, a website that will search all the streaming services for you at once. Not sponsored, we just love it. See you next week. Happy Spookies.